North Dakota State, a giant of the FCS ranks, is now likely to join the Mountain West Conference. I cannot overstate how big of a deal this is and how wrong I was about it. This is the Let's Run podcast. Woo! Everybody, welcome to the show today. Grateful to have you be a part of the Let's Run podcast. I was thinking of doing a video. I thought, you know what, let's just go live. I might do a video as well later breaking down the news. We got confirmation in I have been, and while you guys are here, please do like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter. All of the links will be down below. I gotta say, in the conference realignment world, it's a Friday night. It's 8:40. It's 8:40 on a Friday night. In the conference realignment world, you do get a lot of rumors and a lot of conjecture and a lot of people just kind of guessing and a lot of not really substantive news. Just a lot of people playing kind of mind games and using the topic of conference realignment to to make things seem like they're going to happen when they're never really going to happen. And I was one of these people. I was sure that both the Mountain West and the Pac-12 were done adding and expanding teams in the next 5 years or so, 3 or 4 years or so. And I still feel that way about the Pac-12. I don't think the Pac-12 is adding anybody. But a lot of people have brought up North Dakota State as a possible team to join the FBS and join the Mountain West Conference. And I always said that I didn't see North Dakota State ever joining the Mountain West Conference, not because they wouldn't be a good fit. In fact, geographically, North Dakota State fits really well with schools like Wyoming and fits well with even schools like Air Force. Just because I didn't think that the FBS would have an appetite to allow FCS schools to join the FBS ranks. And so I was always like, nope, not going to happen. It maybe in 3 or 4 years, but this is a ways away. The Mountain West is kind of where it is right now, and the Pac-12 is where it is right now. And again, I still feel that way about the Pac-12. But the Mountain West adding North Dakota State is legitimately a huge deal. And I don't think people, if you're not familiar with FCS football, the CAA, Collegiate Athletics Advocate, one of my favorite YouTube channels. Please, if you are here, make sure you give him a follow. We talked about this, in live streams months ago, that North Dakota State was kind of a team that's been really dominant, really the class of FCS football for 10, 15, maybe longer than that, 20 years. A team that's won many national championships, a team that's dominated that rank of football. And has shown over the last few years a willingness to make that jump up to the FBS level, where people around the country have basically universally agreed that North Dakota State would do really well in basically any G5 conference. They would be a competitive G5 team. I'm not saying they're going to come in and go 13-0, although their schedule next season is depending on how they join them. Because apparently this is happening like next season. Which again is just a huge deal. I do not know what this does to the Mountain West schedule. As somebody that's really trying to get UNLV and thinks UNLV could be a college football playoff team next year, it has a really good schedule. I can't say that I really want to replace a game on our schedule with a trip to North Dakota State, but it would be good for strength of schedule reasons. But North Dakota State is just a dominant program. And let's open up the Ross Dellinger article, because he's always the one that kind of drops these bombs every single time. So let's dive into that and let's go over the details, because there's some really good stuff here. I want to make sure I get your guys' comments for Tavon says, I think this is legit a huge deal. It is a huge deal, Tavon. It's a massive deal. Real Daryl says, whoa, road trip to Fargo. Yeah, let's go, Blurt. me and Blurt going up to Fargo like we did to Boise last year. Attaway Jason, love that you're fresh on the scene. Thank you, Bally. Everybody make sure you follow Bally's YouTube channel, one of the best college football channels that you'll see. The Mountain West is being proactive. Yeah, the Mountain West, I think it was in an okay spot in terms of membership, but certainly the Mountain West, after losing good football schools like Boise State, San Diego State, Utah State, Colorado State, and Fresno State, was certainly behind. There was no denying that. And while this adding North Dakota State doesn't replace those schools, it certainly helps a lot, because North Dakota State, again, I don't think anybody doubts that they can be competitive at the FBS level. That program is operating just so far above many of the FCS schools. There's a few other schools, Montana State's, South Dakota State. There's some good other programs in the FCS level, but I think it's pretty clear that that in Fargo, North Dakota State, they're the Bison, they're the class of the FCS, and so. Yeah, I don't know if North Dakota State would be added to UNLV's schedule, but let's open up the Ross Dellinger article. Let's get you through the details. And then I'm going to post this, and then I'm going to immediately record a video just so we can get all the stragglers. So sources, North Dakota State in serious discussions to join the Mountain West as a football-only member. Now, it needs to be stated that it isn't official yet. I mean, they haven't officially been announced by the conference as a member. However, Ross Dellinger would not be reporting this if this was not incredibly likely to happen. So, I mean, this is real. It's very likely. It would be shocking if it didn't happen at this point, although not impossible. So Ross Dellinger says North Dakota State's long-awaited move to the FBS is inching closer to a reality. The Mountain West is in serious dialogue to add FCS powerhouse as a football member only this coming season. The Mountain West and North Dakota State in a courtship for more than a year now. There have been a lot of people saying, oh, they're not really talking. I think this basically refutes that. Apparently they have been talking this whole time. Certainly it would make sense that they were talking this whole time. The move comes at a price for the Bison, however, and this is something that even I didn't expect, because the Mountain West did assist a school like NIU, which was another really decent ad for the Mountain West Conference, and even a school like UTEP, who I believe received some assistance to get out of Conference USA. In contrast, for North Dakota State, apparently there will be a substantial entry fee to join the conference, an offer that is becoming more standard for those schools wanting a promotion in conference affiliation. For example, and they bring up Memphis last year, proposing a $200 million entry fee to the Big 12. SMU, Cal, and Stanford agreed to, basically, if you want to get into a different conference, a better conference, the standard has become that you're going to pay something to that conference to get in. The Mountain West, if they got North Dakota State, which it seems like they will, are going to have 10 members. The Mountain West will have 2 football-only programs, which makes a lot of sense because, these schools are in geographically isolated places. So even having a basketball team would make travel pretty difficult. Although there's Allegiant flights between Vegas and Fargo for like $70, so it's not that hard to get to. I mean, it's pretty easy to get to anywhere from Vegas. But North Dakota State and Northern Illinois are football-only members. And then, of course, we have Air Force, UNLV, Reno, New Mexico, San Jose State, Wyoming, and then full members, of course, the new full members, Hawaii and UTEP. North Dakota State, if there was going to be a school that was attractive, I mean, Sacramento State's got to be sitting there, punching themselves right now. Like, why can we not get into a conference? Apparently they have done something similar with this $10 million entry fee. And they're trying to get into the MAC right now, football only, which is insane because the MAC needs the money pretty bad. But North Dakota State is the crown. I get it. It's an FCS school. It's not going to come in and make the Mountain West, the best Group of 5 conference by any means. But if there's an FCS school that you want, it's North Dakota State. Like they're the crown jewel of that level of football. They are juggernauts. Since the 2011 season, the program has won 90% of its games and 10 conference titles. They play in a really cool, the Fargo Dome. They play in a really cool indoor football arena, which they sell out. I mean, their season tickets, their attendance. I mean, it's not a big arena, but people come and people love that program. And they've had, apparently for a while, the athletic director, Matt Larson, has said they want to play at the highest level of Division I football, and the FBS is the highest level. And the opportunity is here. Mountain West presidents, so this has gone through approval of the Mountain West presidents. They've agreed to grant the school an invitation to the league. However, the price to join the league will be significant. For example, the school would owe a $5 million fee to the NCAA. That's standard. Originally, it was $5,000 a couple of years ago, but now it's up to $5 million to kind of try and dissuade FCS schools from trying to join the FBS. That's a big fee for a school like North Dakota State. However, and also presumably North Dakota State's the rest of their sports will remain in the Summit League. The Mountain West North Dakota State conversations come at the heels of the announcement of the new media rights package, and also during the course of two lawsuits where the Mountain West is trying to get from the agreed upon, from the agreements between the Mountain West and the Pac-12, about $150 million in legal damages. So apparently, and I read this again from Ross Dellinger. That's the article. Apparently, this entrance fee for North Dakota State to join the Mountain West Conference is above eight figures. It's it's a $10 million entrance fee. Now, obviously, I believe that North Dakota State would not be foregoing a media revenue share, which I'm fine with. The Mountain West is using, the only time period that really matters to me is this 2026 to 2031, period anyway, this 5-year period. Beyond that, I do not think that, the way that these conferences are set up right now is permanent. But the Mountain West is going to be using, lawsuit money anyway, so I don't really care if North Dakota State's getting a portion of a media deal. I bet you, I would guess that they'll get something similar to what NIU is getting, which I think is like a 70% share, which could be anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5 million dollars. Not 100% sure exactly. It could be as high as three. I really don't know. But the Mountain West is not paying North Dakota State like they did with UTEP. To join, and like they did with NIU, to join the Mountain West Conference. The Mountain West is actually being paid by North Dakota State to join. And this is just a big win. Like there's no way around it. And UC Davis would be, if the Mountain West is going to add another school like Scarlet Standard, make sure you're following the Scarlet Standard, really great outlet that covers that covers UNLV. He says UC Davis is supposed to get a bid if they want it. Yes, I thought, and I was actually wrong about this, and I think it's because of a Reno Sportsnet article that UC Davis would have to be the first FCS school that the Mountain West would add, but apparently that's incorrect. Apparently North Dakota State can be the first one, and I think UC Davis, they're still maybe a year or two out from being added as an FBS school to the Mountain West Conference, but that will be probably the last school added. That'll make, at least for a while, the Mountain West an 11 school conference, and they'd be a full member. A couple other, Fargo Dome holds 17K. Yeah, it's a really cool environment. Not super big, but because it's indoors, and because people go, it can become a really fun place to watch a college football game. It can be really loud in there. Either way, what about a plane trip from Fargo to Honolulu? Yeah, I think they're probably going to have a connecting flight either in Vegas or Phoenix or LA. That's going to be a pretty interesting trip. You have Hawaii and North Dakota State in the same conference. Let's add NDSU basketball. I don't think they want to get those costs. I don't think they want to incur the costs it would take to put their basketball team in the Mountain West, and I don't think the Mountain West really wants to add them either. I don't think they really need them. North Dakota State's not much of a program. I mean, they've been fine, obviously. I bet you they have more tournament appearances than UNLV does in the last 12 years. But a couple other comments. I really hope UNLV plays there this year. I don't think they will, but they could. You think NDSU paying to get in? Yeah, we just went over that, Carter. Yeah, they are paying to get in. Does Jason Eck have an advantage because he just came from FCS, where a lot of Mountain West coaches don't have an FCS tie? Jason Eck just has an advantage because he's a really good football coach. I don't think it's specifically because he was an FCS coach at one point, a really good FCS coach at one point in Idaho. Jason Eck's just an awesome coach. And certainly if you wanted to, Mountain West football could be pretty bleak if schools like New Mexico and Hawaii weren't taking football more seriously. And if the conference wasn't being proactive, adding good programs like North Dakota State. It's a great addition. Sergeant Morhew says, "Bro, let's go." I totally, man, I'm happy. I'm really happy. Does UNLV get a higher percent of the paid fee? I don't think so. UNLV will get whatever the motion of understanding and the grant of rights says, which is UNLV will get something like $15 million. I think they're likely to get that. And then an amount of money on top of the media deal. It'll depend on it'll depend on the outcome of the lawsuits, obviously, but it's a good financial position for UNLV and for Air Force too. Frankly, a fun fact: our conference will be the only the league with 2 indoor stadiums. That's interesting. I guess no other stadiums. I guess I'm trying to think. Does the ACC, because they have Syracuse, they play in a dome? I'm disappointed you removed the super chat option. The live stream on such short notice regarding this news deserves pay. Great work, man. No, I don't deserve any. I don't deserve any pay, and I appreciate the super chats, but I want people to keep their hard-earned money, for themselves and for their families. I hope they can get some good out of conference games and be competitive, so the conference will look good when it comes time for the CFP. Yeah, North Dakota State. Look, it's going to be tough for it's tough for any group of 6 school to make the college football playoff. It is, because there's just a lot of competition for it. It's like 65, 70 schools for one spot, presumably. Obviously, there were 2 this year, but North Dakota State helps the Mountain West have a higher chance, even if you don't think it helps. Even if you don't think it. It doesn't make the Mountain West better than the Pac-12. It doesn't make the Mountain West better than the American. It just helps. It's just a positive move. And it's a move that I couldn't be any more thrilled at. Going to keep going over your comments. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But I've had some people, and I guess I'll address a few things before we're going to end this one, because I want to make sure that I'm clear about what's going on. The timing of this, I believe, is next year, but I need to see confirmation of that through, sources and through the conference announcing it itself. It's pretty crazy that that can happen so quickly, because like Sergeant Moore, who says, like SDSU Mike says, they don't have to wait or go through the process of interviewing or anything like all the FCS to FBS schools do, like UCSD and Sac State. I don't know the process of adding them. No clue. I presume it's happening this next year based on the reports that I've seen, but I do not know the process of adding them. I don't know the mechanics of it. And again, it's not confirmed yet, but if it's getting this far along, it's very likely to happen at this point, especially because the Mountain West presidents have seemingly already approved it. Is this the first potential domino to fall? If NDSU joins the Mountain West, could this be a daisy chain for realignment? I don't think so. I think this is probably where realignment stops for at least a year. The power leagues seem like they're just kind of in a waiting game at this point. So I don't think we're going to see any movement for power conferences. The Big 12 is waiting for maybe an ACC meltdown. The ACC is trying to hold itself together. The Big 10 and SEC are bursting to the seams with teams probably actually would rather drop some teams out. In terms of the group of 6, I mean, the Sun Belt made an addition. The American is kind of full. I don't think there's room for that many more teams in the American at this current point in time, unless schools like Memphis and Tulane leave. The American is obviously really a terrible basketball league, but as a football league, I think it has the claim as the best group of 6 football conference right now, without a shadow of a doubt. And there's no way to argue anything else. So I would say that this is probably the only move, but I also told you that NDSU to the Mountain West wasn't going to happen. So we don't know. I mean, my guess is that this is it, that there's not going to be a subsequent move. Something else that I'll say about, and Scarlet Standard, thank you for posting this. Yeah. So this is the UC Davis language, is what Murray said. And again, I don't know if this is true. This is UC Davis has the right of consideration / application if the Mountain West elevates a football program from the FCS level. That could complicate the Mountain West attempting to add a different FCS school like North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana State, or Sacramento State. Although the Mountain West is under no obligation to select UC Davis for elevation for full member status, including football. So it's possible that it's very possible that UC Davis just said, yep, you can go ahead and add North Dakota State. Right now, we're not going to use this right of refusal. It's possible that, Chris Murray was just mistaken here. He's a reporter for Reno Sportsnet. I really did believe that we had to add UC Davis before we could add North Dakota State. I still think, obviously, we're going to add UC Davis in the near future, and that would be a very good add. That's another good FCS program, and that's actually an FCS program. Not that they demand huge viewership or anything, because this North Dakota State ad, keep in mind, like it's not going to like make the Mountain West media deal better. Now, people obviously are interested in North Dakota State football. They kind of have a Boise State like vibe, just that they're underdogs that kind of punch up. They take down FBS schools. They do really quite well. And um, essentially, like, but I would not say that this is likely to, increase the valuation of a Mountain West media deal. What it is, it's a competitive move. That's what it is. It's a move for future competition. And I mean, it's not a money move as much for right now. Obviously, I think North Dakota State could build itself up a pretty good brand, in not exactly the same way, but in a similar way to what Boise State has done. Not to the same degree. This isn't a great comparison, but um, they could build themselves kind of like a brand, an underdog punchers brand. And I believe that North Dakota State's awesome and that they're going to be really competitive year one. If they need a few out of conference games, I know where they can find a few. Yeah, the Pac-12 schools are in bad are in need of some games to play against teams. Having just joined the Mountain West, I don't think that the Mountain West schools, obviously there are some existing rivalries. I think Hawaii and San Diego State are continuing playing. And I think Colorado State and Wyoming are going to continue playing. But I don't think the Mountain West is going to be in any rush to help out the Pac-12 here. Bali says, I really like this move. You're right. It won't replace the teams that left, but it undoubtedly makes this conference a lot better immediately. And selfishly, I can't wait for a North Dakota State UNLV game. Go Rebels. Yeah. And I've seen this take a little bit like North Dakota State's going to come in and win the conference in year one. And it's like, look, UNLV football really takes UNLV really takes football seriously. And New Mexico's really stinking good at football right now because they have Jason Eck and he's returning. They're going to have something to say. I wouldn't expect North Dakota State to come in next year and win the Mountain West. I'm not saying it's impossible. It could totally happen. But there are some pretty good programs. Timmy Chang is doing pretty good things with Hawaii right now. I think Reno's kind of hopeless. NIU doesn't look great right now. They're kind of rebuilding. Air Force seems to be struggling, but this is just a really good competitive move. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if North Dakota State is finishes in the top 5 of the conference, and that's not a sign of weakness for the Mountain West. It's a sign of strength, really. Chances of adding St. Mary's. I don't think St. Mary's to the Mountain West is going to happen. I don't think St. Mary's to the Pac-12 is going to happen. I think that they just play in too small of a gym. There's revenue sharing issues. There's facility issues. Really great program, of course. But I can't see it. I can't see it. I should rephrase realignment with FCS in general. Okay, I did want to talk about this because Moorhugh's bringing it up, maybe nudging the other FCS programs. Here's kind of my belief. About what's going to happen with FCS schools and kind of the result that will have, that this move will have on kind of the future of FBS programs. Essentially, I think what this does is set up and kind of secure the Mountain West Conference specifically, kind of sets up and secures their future. There are other good programs in the FCS that could come up. Like we said, Montana, although they did just lose Bobby Huck. South Dakota State, your Montana State. There's very good programs, and obviously UC Davis. Say that there's a cataclysmic scenario, and for some reason, a school, schools like UNLV in New Mexico leave the Mountain West. Reno, whatever, Air Force goes to the Americans. Say there's a kind of a cataclysmic event. I think what adding North Dakota State does is secure the existence of the conference into the future. I think adding North Dakota State kind of says, if we're losing teams, I think Montana State maybe has that same desire to move up. Maybe Montana does too. And that makes a lot of sense, man. Those schools, they are good enough and they could play against, as long as they're willing to invest like FBS schools, they fit right alongside schools like Wyoming and Air Force. They don't really fit alongside schools like UNLV and Hawaii. But why not? Why not play? I mean, maybe they do. Maybe I'm wrong. I think schools like UTEP. I mean, I think that what this does is signal that the Mountain West, even if they lose future members, even if the ACC blows up and all of a sudden, the ACC is down to 9 teams and they have to add a bunch of teams and they add some teams on the West Coast like UNLV, Boise State, San Diego State, and whoever. I think what this does is secure the future of the Mountain West and give the Mountain West a protection from future realignment. Just, and that would fundamentally change what the Mountain West is. But this is just a really good sign for the future. And you have to give Gloria Navarez credit, not only to get North Dakota State, but also to get a huge payout for them to enter your conference. I think it's really good news. And yeah, I mean, considering the sorry state of UNLV basketball right now, it's nice to get some exciting news. I hope we get Tarleton State later. Yeah, this is another FBS program, a big public school in Texas that has been taking football very seriously at the FCS level and seriously investing. You could totally see the Mountain West add Tarleton State and UC Davis. I would be okay with Tarleton State as a member. To be honest, I mean, it would change the complexion of the conference. So I wouldn't say that's happening like right now. I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow or anything. But North Dakota State and Tarleton State would be reasonable ads. It would change what the conference is. It wouldn't be a bad thing or anything. It would just change what it is. I don't think Tarleton State's in the near future. But again, I didn't think this was either. So I would probably want to stop here for now for the Mountain West. I wouldn't want to go to 11 football playing schools. But 10 schools is okay for a year. Let's see how it goes first. But Tarleton State and UC Davis would be reasonable ads from the FCS level. Now, it wouldn't help the conference be the class of the G5, but it would certainly be a stability factor for the conference. When I read into that, it just allows them to join whenever they wish. Yeah, Tarleton would be an interesting ad. This is good news. Okay, let's keep going. Jason Kelly is the GOAT. You've been doing a great job, man. You too, Bully. Love that video you did recently. He just did a great video on the future of UNLV football that I thought was quite fun. Bully spitting facts. Bring back Super Chat, or at least give us a Discord. Yeah, I should have a Discord. Yeah, the only would be Sac State to the MAC and maybe Tarleton State to CUSA. Yeah, Tarleton State would fit very well in CUSA. I think they would do very well in that conference. So NDSU gets now, but UC Davis doesn't. UC Davis has been in the New Mountain West for months now. Yeah, we're talking specifically about the football side. UC Davis makes a lot of sense. It's a good football program. They take football seriously. I'm glad that we have a bit of a buffer period with them, basketball only. Not that I really wanted to add them basketball only, but when I looked at the basketball brands, the other basketball schools, I mean, whatever, it's fine. It was not my favorite ad for the Mountain West Conference, but I would almost rather have them football only than basketball. But it is what it is. Yeah, I saw the Sac State news. Oddly enough, Bill, the college football games, Toledo is interested in the Mountain West is football only. Yeah, Toledo was a school that came very close to joining the Mountain West last year as football only. Alongside NIU, it would have joined the Mountain West with NIU. That would have also been a good move for the Mountain West. Toledo's a decent football school, and football only, they would make sense. Anything is possible in realignment. After seeing what we've seen, I'll never say no way ever again. I'll still say no way on anybody joining the Pac-12. Collegiate Athletics Advocate. I don't think anybody's joining that conference for a couple of years, at least few years. Very intrigued to see the responses from UC Davis and San Diego State. You might be talking about other schools. South Dakota State, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I think NDSU saw their opportunity and grasped it, and it's a good move, man. UCSD went up to FBS and were on probation for 3 years till last season. They finally got to play at the FBS level and almost took out Michigan in basketball. Yeah, we'll see. UC Davis did not move to the Mountain West to not be allowed to be a member in the future. I totally agree that UC Davis will be added at some point to the Mountain West. It's not as clear cut as you think to move up. You're right, totally. It looks like we have an NDSU fan. NDSU's fan base will bring a ton of fans into your stadium, easily 5,000 plus. NDSU fans will travel to UNLV, Reno, and Air Force. I'm sure you will. Your first trip to Vegas, I hope you guys have a great time. I hope you come down to Allegiant Stadium. Shoot me a message when you're at Allegiant Stadium. I'll come shake your hand. I love talking to people when they come to visit Vegas and see the Runnin' Rebels and UNLV football play. Will they change the Mountain West football schedule for next season? Assuming that they are joining next season, which I think they are, yes, they'll have to change the Mountain West football schedule for next season. JY from the Big Mountain Podcast. Everybody, make sure you're following him, dude. I'll say this, JY, you were totally right on NDSU. This has got to feel good. The catharsis, the satisfaction of this moment for you has got to feel good. Because I did not believe you. I thought North Dakota State's years away. So congrats to JY and the showrunner of the excellent Big Mountain Podcast. Whether or not you always agree with JY, I think he's a very respectable guy that puts a lot of effort into his content, and a guy that I've met a couple of times, really, at least once. Really great dude. Hey, JY, I love this NDSU Mountain. Mountain West has better leadership than the Pac. I think they've done more with what they have, maybe, but I mean, whatever. I mean, both these conferences, nobody's a winner right now. I don't think. Um, I mean, you can certainly say one's beating the other, but in terms of the bigger landscape, um, this is a good moment for the Mountain West for sure. It's a very happy moment for the Mountain West. Doesn't mean the Mountain West is beating the Pac-12 or anything. Does Pac-12? I still think is a better conference, obviously, but it's still a really good night for the Mountain West, no doubt. Couple more comments here. I want to make sure I'm getting your guys' comments. UC Davis is going all in on investing. They want athletic to finally match the academic reputation. Yeah, that's something about UC Davis when they do eventually join that I really respect. That they're a good academic institution. That helps. I mean, it's not everything, but it certainly helps. UC Davis isn't ready yet, but they will be. I respect the endowment and the enrollment they have. The money's there. Morehugh asks, bro, does that mean they rotate the 8 conference games, or will they sacrifice 1 out of conference games to go to 9 conference games? I don't know. I really don't know what they're going to do. So we'll see. I'm not 100% sure. I would rather stay at 8 games. I think the out of conference opportunities are already kind of all full. UNLV has their, I'm sure for next season. Actually, let me say that I think next season it will be 8 out of conference game, not 8 conference games, 4 out of conference games. I don't think it'll go up to 9. I think that would be stupid. Teams need those bye games, frankly, and out of conference opportunities for a school like UNLV. I wouldn't want to give that up. The hypocrisy of the NCAA is showing their stupidity. Absolutely. If there's one thing we can agree on SDSU, Mike, is that the NCAA is stupid. The NDSU versus Allegiant will do numbers. I agree. G6 schools need to buy the game. No way they go to 9. NDSU joining in 2026. That's why Mountain West hasn't finalized dates. NDSU physicality will be hard for the Mountain West to adjust to. Remember, NDSU has the K-State coach Kleeman and the Wyoming coach Craig Bull in their offices again. Yeah, that's just a dead serious program, man. North Dakota State's a dead serious program. So I'm going to kind of wind down the show here a little bit. Make sure you guys put your questions in the comments below. Maybe the Pac-12 will add somebody. I mean, I don't want to, I feel really confident that they're not going to. They absolutely have to. And if the Pac-12 had done this deal, I think NDSU would have made the Pac-12 a better football conference. To be honest, I really think that, I don't think the Pac-12 would actually have done that. But I think they should have been interested in it because it just helps, man. The NDSU is just good. Like there's just no way around it. So win for the Mountain West. Not a final victory by any means, but yeah, I mean, if you don't take North Dakota State as a Rebel fan, if you don't take North Dakota State seriously, you're not taking them seriously. You have to take this North Dakota State program seriously. They could come in and kick your butt. Like he says, NDSU has 2 O-linemen in the Super Bowl for Seattle. Yeah, North Dakota State probably has more players in the NFL than UNLV does. In fact, I would say definitely they do. So, I mean, take for that what you will. Conference is not staying stagnant. Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. So, guys, I'm gonna cut this video up a little bit. I'm gonna post it on my channel. But please do like this video. Please do subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna end it there. And I hope you guys have an awesome, awesome, awesome weekend. What a great day. I just finished watching A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. What a great show. I hope you guys have an awesome night. Awesome. This is great. I'm just happy. What a great night. Everybody, let's run.